On a night like this, on an evening like this, when you think that you have finally taken the break you needed all those years, I asked that you recall these words and recognize that though you may be tired and need a rest, you will never, ever be forgotten. I still remember my Standard 5 teacher in college exhibition class, Mr. Oliver Defoe, a strict disciplinarian, and I believe he was one of the people responsible for my success, having been brought up through Faizabad Intermediate EC School in the late 1950s. I still remember him vividly, as your children will remember you. You have left the ministry at a time of great changes. You would have been privy to the many new changes I am spearheading, or we are spearheading at the moment. And I thought that it is important that as you leave the ministry in an official manner, just permit me to, in a few minutes, let you know where we are taking the Ministry of Education, or hope to take the Ministry of Education, and are in the process of taking the Ministry of Education over the next 3.5 years, because almost 1.5 years have gone. We have produced a business report 2010, and from that, all our business processes from the Ministry of Education are well spelled out, and it is on the Ministry of Education website, moe.gov.tt. You know that we have instituted the laptop program, one laptop for every child, and we are on our second wave of distributing laptops this year in September. I am made to understand that the tenders for the second set of laptops have just been completed. The evaluation has just been completed. And so at the end of 5 years, we would have given 85,000 laptops to students, and possibly 12,000 to 15,000 teachers trained with the infusion of curriculum with ICT. We have 152 secondary schools with computer labs ranging from 1 to 6. We have increased the band connectivity from 3 to 5 megabytes, and we are now improving it to 10 megabytes. We are bringing Wi-Fi to almost every school. Over 300 primary schools have computer labs, and we are going to bring it to 473 schools with Wi-Fi facility as well. It is the mandate of this government and the People's Partnership Government and our Prime Minister to bring on universal early childhood education, where all 34,000 children between ages 3 to 5 would find a place in an early childhood education center. And so we are embarking from this month a training of almost 3,000 early childhood education teachers over the next 3 to 4 years, so that we can fill almost 600 schools with early childhood education teachers and ensure that not a child between ages 3 to 5 will be left without a place in an early childhood education center. You know that the intellectual capacity and development of a child is within the first 7 years of his or her life. 70% of the development takes place within the first 7 years. So if we miss that opportunity between ages 3 to 5, we would have been missing a golden opportunity. And therefore, this is where we're going to place a lot of emphasis. With your help and support over the years, you have placed Trinidad and Tobago as leaders in the education system in Latin America and the Caribbean and perhaps the world. You have helped Trinidad and Tobago to satisfy the Millennium Development Goals, the 6 Millennium Development Goals. We have universal early primary education, universal secondary education, and universal tertiary education now. We're now moving to universal early childhood education. Then we're looking at the special needs of children. We believe that 30% of our children do have some special needs, whether it's emotional, behavioral, or psychological abnormalities, or whether it's learning disabilities like dyslexia, or autism, or attention deficit syndrome, or Down syndrome, or neuromuscular skeletal disorders, or cerebral palsy. And if we have a birth rate of 17,000 children annually, we believe that about 5,000 of these children need some special help. And we have now engaged in a pilot project to determine the true incidence and prevalence of students with special needs, so that we eventually will, within a short period of time, will be prescriptive in our approach in dealing with these children at an early age, so that when they enter into primary schools, they would have been taken care of already. We are moving towards improving performance in literacy and numeracy. You know that we ranked number 62, according to the Pearls Index, out of 82 countries in literacy in Standard 3, and this is unacceptable. We cannot continue this way. And our numeracy is almost just at the same level. So we have to have intervention strategies, and our intervention strategies in improvement of literacy and reading is going to take place in infant year 1 and 2 and Standard 1. It is no longer going to be at the higher level, but we're going to stem it at the tide. Do you all know, colleagues, who are moving on to your different lives subsequent to today, or subsequent to your retirement, that there are 17,000 children at an annual basis approximately who enter into primary school, and only 2,000 finish CAPE with grades 1, 2, and 3. From 17,000 entering primary schools and 17,000 into secondary schools, 13,500 only write 5 subjects or more, including maths and English at CXC. Already there is a dropout of 3,500. And out of these 13,500 who write CXC with 5 subjects or more, only 6,500 pass 5 subjects or more. And out of the 6,500 who pass 5 subjects or more, 3,005 move on to CAPE. And out of the 3,005 who move on to CAPE, 60% of those get grade 1 to 3. So from 17,000 moving into primary school through secondary school, only 2,000 students come up with CAPE certification grades 1 to 3. A 15,000 dropout, or possibly questionable dropout, in our education system. And I'm sure you share the passion and the feeling that we need to move to stem that tide as early as possible and to ensure that this is a thing of the past. And you would have worked assiduously with all your capabilities and with all your capacity over the years, retirees, to have been able to try to do your best in the education system. But this is still causing us great care and concern over a period of time now. So on a night like this, when you think that you have finally taken the break you need, I ask that you recall these words and recognize that though you may be tired and taking a rest, you will never ever be forgotten. You have left the ministry at a time of great changes, and you would have been privy now, as I just told you, to many of the changes we are now spearheading. Change of the SEA date, continuous based assessment, improvement performance in SEA, CXC and CAPE, improvement in infrastructure, improvement in technical vocational training, curriculum review, organizational restructuring and institutional strengthening, HR consultancy, and full computerization of our 15,000 teachers, 3,000 public servants, and 1,000 contract officers.